for me. And then the girl actually got to talk to animals, and I was just in love with this show, and this did a crossover with another one of my favorites. I'm not going to say my other favorites, but it was just good fun. I loved Wild Thornberrys all the way. I stopped watching it when it got off air, I think. I don't think it went to that ridiculousness level that the other shows we're talking about did.
Yeah. Side note: Tim Curry plays Nigel Thornberry, so
yeah.
that kind of that kind of wins me over. Yeah, I actually really did like that show as well. I watched it just about every moment that I could, and then you mentioned that crossover movie, which was awesome to say the least. And then there was even one where she actually reveals that she could talk to animals and she loses her powers for a brief moment of time. And I guess her and her sister got like the same power, which was kind of pretty cool, cool. But I think one character in there that really got me was the crazy little kid Donnie. Oh my gosh, was that kid just insane, but also just flat out hilarious. Oh my gosh. I mean, even when you just can't understand what he was saying, I'm just like, I don't care what he just said, as long as it was, PG quality, but that was still pretty funny.
Didn't he talk like, that was his voice.
He just, he was...
So, like, the monkey snarling was, like, so proper. After you hear, like, the little wild boy, and then you hear those monkeys. You're like, oh, wow.
Donnie's basically like what Curly was if Curly kept getting dropped on his head and bashed on the head, where he just can't even say words anymore. He's just at the point where he's just like, just speaking. Yeah. All right, so number 2 for me was actually another very classic, and I'm going back to classic of this version because they've done so many reboots and so many different versions of this that it's not even funny. But what I loved growing up as a kid, and I actually owned a couple of the VHSs, yes, I'm going back to that time, was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Raphael, Michelangelo, Leonardo, and Donatello. And I'm talking about, of course, like I said, the original cartoon version was just flat out awesome. It gave you an idea of what, Shredder was supposed to be like, what Krang was supposed to be like. Baxter Stockman, oh my gosh. That guy was just insane. Splinter, April O'Neil. I think, in all honesty, when they came out with the movie a few years ago, this was kind of where it was my standard. It was like, okay, I needed to kind of match what basically what my childhood cartoons were. And obviously, it's one of those things where it's just like, no, not even close. But I mean, I'll give it credit. It was a good set of movies, but the thing is, it's just one of those things where it's like, I can't compare the two, because the original TV series was awesome, and these movies are just like, Michael Bay needs another movie where he needs to explode stuff. But I will say this, that they did do an amazing job with Bebop and Rocksteady. I think that Gary Anthony Williams and Sheamus, WWE Superstar, were just really good in the role. They both just excelled and just did an amazing job. So I guess I can't say that, they did a horrible job on everything. I can definitely say that comparing the, Bebop and Rocksteady to the cartoon ones and the ones in the movies, I will say I think the movies ones has a little bit more of an edge because they looked more badass. But everything else was just kind of like, I can't really say that much to it. And of course, like I said, they've done so many of the animated series. They rebooted it so many times. I tried watching, I think, the one that was on Fox Kids. It was just kind of like, again, just not the same as the classic. It just hard for me to get involved with. So I'm definitely going to be picking the more classic version because it was awesome. And plus, the classic movies that they had, which were like, I think in the 90s or something like that. One of my favorite moments was they're trying to think of like all these random words to say. It's like saying, righteous and cool and stuff like that. But Splinter actually suggested, cowabunga. So they just said cowabunga. And then Splinter just says, ha ha ha, I just made a funny. Ha ha ha. And as a kid, I'm just like, wait, what? And then I look it up. I'm like, oh, that's what that means. Okay. I mean, it sounds cool, but it really means poo, basically. Okay, then. It works. It sounds cool. It looks cool. It's just don't go looking at the meaning, because then you'll realize, oh yeah, they're talking about poo. Okay, I guess that makes sense. But
yeah, bunga, I guess. I gives it away, but but no, I love Ninja Turtles. Good show. Good show. I didn't watch most of the cartoons. I did. I was like you. I tried to watch that new TMNT one, but it was like super little kiddie to me. I was like, oh man. But I can see where you're talking about how the new movies. I don't know. I'm not trying to be a hater here about talking about this person, but I don't know. It's something about Megan Fox that makes me dislike some of the movies she's in. I don't know what it is, because I'm actually really good with, like, I'm like, oh, this hot girl, like, oh, Scarlett Johansson, I'm cool with this hot girl being in this. She's a badass. But for some reason, when Megan Fox, like, they take Megan Fox as April O'Neil, I was like, that is absolutely not what's in my mind for April O'Neil. And for some reason, I don't know if it's just me, but I thought of, like, maybe orange hair. Is that not the correct?
Yeah, she kind of had like a little reddish hair, orangish hair in a way. So.
And not like, you know, how Megan Fox is a little, like, she seems like she could be, like, a different race, too, and stuff. Like, her skin tone is nice and, like, darker and everything. I thought of Rachel more like April, not Rachel. April was, like a pasty, almost nerdy-ish news person, not, like, a sex symbol. I was, like,
right.
When she was, like, a sex symbol, I was like, what the hell? I don't understand. They did that in Transformers too, and who directed that?
Michael Bublé, Stephen Bay. I somewhere in between there. I don't know. I just don't know.
Exactly. It's like, come on, dude, do something different. Like, sorry, let's not get to talk about Michael. I was like, oh god, like. Like, no, he's gonna ruin the Ninja Turtles. The first movie was so good.
Well,
the first one in the 90s when I was born. I was like, that was like on repeat. It was one of those like movies that if the babysitter came over, she had to watch it 3 times with me. Yeah. But no, TMNT or Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles.
Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles, you know.
Sounds like TM. What?
Trademark. Trademark Ninja Turtles. Put that as a theme song. Trademark Mutant Ninja Turtles. Trademark. That would be amazing. All right, so we are now down to the final 2 being our number 1 picks. Now, you kind of hinted at what your number 1 pick is, but please, by all means, reveal it. What is the grand pick that you have as your number 1 pick?
Yeah, I definitely kind of already gave a huge hint, because people will know the Thornberrys. You have to know the Rugrats. And Rugrats is my number 1 and will always be probably my number 1 kids show when I was growing up. I mean, it went throughout my teens, too, I feel, because they grew up. They allowed them to grow up, and so I grew up with them. But, yeah, Rugrats, the that was, whenever you heard that music, I think my face went blank and turned to the TV, because I knew it was instant time to get zoned into these little babies who had a screwdriver that could get them out of their little playpen, and then they'd go have a crazy adventure, and they'd allow their imaginations to literally take hold, and we got to see their imagination come to life and what they were doing, and then it would like randomly like go back to how ridiculous they actually were being. And it was just so cute, and it was for all ages. I mean, they had some ridiculous humor in that. In the first Rugrats movie, amazing. Then when they did a crossover with the Thornberrys, you're like, this is my life. Two big shows. And like Reptar was like the Godzilla. Everybody loves Reptar. And I loved Godzilla, so I was like, oh man, Reptar's so cool. I even had those, there was like a time period, like in the 90s, where for some reason, all of us kids were really nervous about people coming into our rooms. So like, we'd have those stupid little toys that would warn us, like motion sensors. Do you remember that, when everyone would have like this weird motion sensor?
Oh yeah, I remember.
I had Tommy Pickles one. So Tommy would be like, uh-oh, the grown-ups are coming, the grown-ups are coming. I don't know why we all had that, but that was a thing in the 90s, to have a little cartoon character warn you when your door was opening. And mine was definitely Tommy Pickles, and he would scream at me, and I'd be waking up in the middle of the night for no reason. But yeah, no, Rugrats was the shiz, and when they did Rugrats All Grown Up, that was even better. Like, I loved it. And then they had to cancel it really quickly, but I was in love. I was like, yeah, now they have love interests. Now they're grown up like me. I'm 11 now, so I'm all grown up. Yeah, exactly. So it's a bunch of fun, and I love those diaper swinging crazy kids, and I don't know, I never got sick of it. They added more characters with the movies, like Rugrats in Paris, having Chucky finally have a mom. Like, it was good. It had emotion. Like, I think I probably cried. Let's be real. I probably cried in the Digimon movie, the Pokemon movie, for sure, when Ash died. I'm a baby. And I for sure cried in, like, the Rugrats movie when he didn't want his brother anymore. But, yeah. I guess it would be harder to name a movie I didn't cry in. But no, Rugrats is my number one.
Oh man! Well, actually, there was a time actually I remember specifically thinking about this when I was growing up. They actually had the Reptar cereal actually marketable and out on the sales floor. And there were so many times where I was actually going for that as a kid. I was like, "Oh, Reptar cereal, gotta have that." It was okay. It was okay. It was basically almost like a knockoff of Lucky Charms, but it wasn't. I'm not gonna say like it was a horrible product and it wasn't a horrible idea. It's just one of those things where it was like I was kind of expecting a little more. Like, I don't know, maybe cereal turns green or something like that. I was a little disappointed at that. The fact they didn't have Reptar bars. Come on, people. I would love to. Even nowadays, I would love to see a Reptar bar. Just nice chocolate, and it turns your tongue green because reasons. There is money to be made there. So please, by all means, whoever is in charge of candy, somebody come up with that idea. That'd be amazing.
They should just reboot some of these shows. I think kids nowadays would just fall in love, and they'd have like 10 years of shows ready to put on. Just reboot it. What are they waiting for?
Well, you have to also remember there's some reboots that are just like, oh, well, that kind of flopped.
No. I mean like legit, like take the first episode and just put it back on air.
Okay. Now I understand what you're saying.
I mean, like literally just, hey, remember this show? Wow, that show is really successful. Huh. These kids are all grown up now. Let's just put it on again. See if they notice. Maybe, do a little animation upgrade, but even that, kids don't care. They see their animation, so might as well just, I can't even watch this. But, you know what's the biggest mind-blown thing, too, for me?
I want to know.
That Tommy Pickles was actually played by a grown woman. My mind was blown.
That's right.
Yeah, it was like, I forget her name, but I remember like being in, because of course I played backstroke. I don't know why. I don't really always do that, but I wanted to see. I like to see the voice actors, even though most of the time they disappoint you. Kind of like the Tommy Pickles thing, because I was just like, he's a girl. Like, I don't understand. Tommy Pickles, boy, he's a boy. Why is it a girl? And you're like, oh yeah, Ash Ketchum, also a girl.
Yep.
They hire girls because their voices will stay this way forever and ever and ever.
I guess so. I don't know.